cook this turkey. All right, we'll start here in 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to Geekvice episode 278, proving any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. My name's Morph. That man's Kip. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening.
We are back. We actually made it 2 weeks in a row. And we're home of the new NFL World Champions. So, my first question I have to ask you, did you root for the Chiefs?
You know what? It was the same as just about any Super Bowl I watched. I just wanted a good game. I'm not a fan of either team, so I just wanted a good game.
Yeah, that was, I mean, that was probably the most competitive, entertaining Super Bowl I've watched in quite a few years. I mean,
yeah.
Last year was a complete blowout. I think the last time was the Seahawks-Patriots Super Bowl when the Seahawks blew it on the 1 yard line at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I think that was the last time that there was truly like a feel of a competitive game.
Yeah, and there for a while it didn't look like it was going to be. It looked like the Chiefs weren't going to get anything done. And San Francisco, a team who can really run the ball, decided it's time to kill the clock. Let's throw some passes.
Yeah.
Dumbasses.
Kyle Shanahan is now proven that. Well, he hasn't proven. He is starting a track record that is one that you do not want to have as a coach in the NFL, and that is you blow leads in the Super Bowl. Because he was the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons when the Falcons blew a 24-point lead to the Patriots.
And they did it the exact same way. When they should have ran the ball, they threw passes.
Yeah.
Exact same problem.
Yep. And both times, the quarterback that he had to work with was not a quarterback that is very good at throwing passes. I would argue that Matt Ryan is not a very accurate thrower of the ball, and Jimmy Garoppolo is Alex Smith light. And neither, going into this game, for those of you that haven't figured it out, I am a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan. If you watched or listened to this show before, on my wall, like back here, if you're watching, you see all those scarves and it's blue. That used to be red for the Chiefs. I repainted the room to look like for Sporting Kansas City, my soccer team, but it was a Kansas City Chiefs room down here, and so I'm a huge Chiefs fan. Going into this game, I had pretty much decided that if the Chiefs were going to win, they had to make Jimmy Garoppolo win the game. Or try to win the game. Because if Jimmy Garoppolo was going to have to throw the ball, there was no way the Chiefs were going to lose. And sure enough, the Chiefs took them a while, but eventually got to the point where Jimmy Garoppolo needed to move the ball down the field, and he couldn't do it. Yeah. And I mean, Kyle Shanahan's got to take some of the blame for that, too, because they were running the ball really easily on the Chiefs, and then decided to stop doing that. So,
when it was 20-10, and there was like 9 minutes left, they got the ball back. And I'm like, they pick up 2 or 3 first downs, this game is over.
Yeah.
And I think they ran the ball on first down and then threw a pass, and I think Chris Jones knocked it down.
Yep.
And then it's threw an incomplete pass, and I'm like, I do not know what you guys are doing. The Chiefs couldn't stop that wide receiver sweep all night long.
Nope.
Didn't even try it. They
Yeah,
were
they
getting almost 5 yards of carry from the running back. They only did it once, and I'm like, you can't leave the door open this many times for the Chiefs because they will come running through it, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, there's so much talent on that offense that you give them that many opportunities, they're going to score. That's
Yeah.
just the way it is.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it showed this game showed a true um in Kansas City we've never had an elite quarterback in Kansas City. We had some really really good ones. We've had some elite quarterbacks past their prime, like Joe Montana. Um but we haven't had a true young elite quarterback until Patrick Mahomes. And this game showed exactly what an elite quarterback can do for a team when you need something done. He takes the weight on his shoulders and he makes it happen. I mean, 3rd and 15 and he throws a 40-yard pass.
Yeah.
I mean, and not a contested 40-yard pass either. He throws it to a wide open Tyreek Hill, and if he would have thrown it a better pass, if he would have had the time to throw a better pass, that would have just been a touchdown right then because there was
Oh,
nobody
yeah.
around him, and Hill had to stop and wait for the ball. I, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just
Sammy Watkins' catch in the first half was the same thing.
yes,
He just
yeah,
basically threw up a punt, but he was so wide open, the defense couldn't even stop it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was just incredible. It was incredible to watch. We had a big party at my house to watch the game, and we had somewhere between 20 and 25 people, 11 of them being kids. 10 or 11 of them being kids. And it was the roller coaster of emotions that all the people in the room went through was crazy. We started off the game just everyone was confident. We even go down and score first, and it was just like, all right, we got this. Or I think we scored first.
Yeah.
Um, and so
No,
you're
no,
just
they scored the field goal first, and then
that's
and then
right,
the Chiefs scored.
that's right. They got the field goal first, but the game stayed close early on. We're like, okay, yeah, we got this. But then as the game went on, and we were down by 10, and you go into halftime, and we're like, all right, we've been here before. We were down by 10 when we, against the Titans. We were down by 24 against the Texans. We got this. No problems. We can do this. 10 points is nothing for this team. And then the third quarter goes by, and we're still down by 10. And we're just like, you start seeing some of the kids that have, in their short life, this game means so much, but they haven't experienced they've they've heard about the disappointment, but they haven't experienced it. And so some of these kids are sitting there going, I can't watch this. I can't watch this. I can't watch this. And us adults are sitting there going, you can't watch this. I have 40 years of this. Like, yeah, we're going to, like, at one point I looked around, I looked over at one of the other dads that was there with me, and it was just like, we, we can't, we can't lose this game. Like, I don't know that this city could recover from losing this game. Like, we have been waiting 50 years for this. Like, we got it pulled out from under us last year. If we were to lose this game this year, we just like the look on some of our faces. But I'm at one point, a couple of the kids, they're just like, they're almost in tears. Not quite tears level, but just that. It was that point where, it was the second interception that Patrick Mahomes threw. So which I think was in the fourth quarter. They're just like, that's it, you know? And I just looked at him and I'm like, it's not it. I just had that feeling. This isn't it. This is not the way. The Chiefs will not lose off of turning the ball over. There's no way. There's too much time left. All we got to do is get one stop. Get one stop and things will start turning around. Well, also the superstition in the room all kicked in, and everybody who was, you know, it was a long game. We went through the halftime show and everything like that. Everybody had moved around seats. Everybody went back to the exact same spot they were sitting at the beginning of the game. Everybody went back to their seats after that second interception, and then sure enough, Chiefs get a stop. Patrick Mahomes creates the magic. They go down and score, and you're just like, oh my goodness. The jumping around, the yelling and screaming in the house, the excitement that was all there. We were still losing, but it was just like, there's 6 minutes left, and we're only down by 3. Like, 3 points in 6 minutes? We scored 28 points in 8 minutes. We've got this, no problem. Like, I mean, the confidence level that just went right back up through the roof. It was just like, oh man, this is incredible. And then when it came down to it at the end of the game, and well, we were all talking about it, and the Chiefs had the ball. I'm like, all right, we just got to go down, score a touchdown. We make that one more stop. We're down by 3, and that's when Damian Williams breaks the run and scores a touchdown in my house. I'm pretty sure my neighbors all around me were just like, what the hell is going on in that house? Because I'm pretty sure the house was shaking. I mean, everybody was up on their feet, jumping around, yelling and screaming. It was great. It was so much fun. I've never experienced anything like this before. I've been a sports fan for a long time. I'm not a huge baseball fan, so the Royals winning it 5 years ago in 2015, it was great. I was happy for him. I was excited for the city, but that's not really my sport. I've seen Sporting Kansas City win a championship. I've seen them win multiple championships, but that level of excitement was great for me, but it was never the same for outside of the stadium. It's not like I have 20 people over to my house to watch sporting, the MLS Cup Finals or something like that.
Right.
The NFL and the Chiefs they have been in this city for so long that you have generations and generations that are following that are rooting for this team, and this was incredible. Just incredible.
Well, you said it though. I mean, when the Royals won, it was pretty cool. I remember watching, when they got the last out. Yeah. I just kind of basically raised my hands above my head. I watched a little bit of the trophy ceremony, and then I went to bed.
Yep.
It's baseball. Football is a whole different animal.
Sure is.
A whole different animal. Yeah, it was. Well, what's funny is when the Chiefs, I think, turned the ball over in the fourth quarter when they were down 20-10. Somebody in my neighborhood started slowly shooting off their fireworks. And I think what that was he just figured the game was over, and he spent the money on the fireworks, and he was going to shoot them. And then when they got the stop, they got the big pass to Tyreek Hill and then scored. It got pretty quiet in the neighborhood. And then when they took the lead, some fireworks started going off again. And then when they got the fourth down stop, and then the big long touchdown run to just completely solidified it, my neighborhood sounded like a war zone.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. I mean, the people behind us were out on their back deck, just having a good time, yelling and hollering, and the fireworks are going off, and it's like, this is what it's about. This is. I always wanted to know what it was like to live in a city where the hometown team went to the Super Bowl and win it.
Yeah.
Now I know. Now
Yeah.
I know. It's pretty freaking cool. I'm not even a fan of the team, and it was pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible. We sent the kids out in the front yard playing, like banging on pots and pans, because we didn't have any fireworks. We shot all our fireworks off 4th of July. I didn't keep any. I honestly never. I always say the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl, but I never even really thought. I never even jinxed us with it. I was just like, whatever. Like, football season, great. Didn't have anything to shoot off, nothing to celebrate. So the kids are out there with pots and pans, and I think the highlight, the highlight of it, and I'll have to try to put it in the video or in the comments for this, or you can find it on my Facebook page. My son, my 10-year-old son, on Friday before the Super Bowl, his band teacher, Reese, is learning to play the trumpet. He's in 5th grade. First, he's been playing the trumpet since basically the beginning of school. So, what? Let's say 6 months. His band teacher on Friday taught them how to play the tomahawk chop and gave them the notes and said, you just have to practice it. They don't actually know they don't even know how to place the actual notes in it, so he kind of gave them the best, like, combination to where you can still hear what it is, but it doesn't sound exactly right. But he grabbed his trumpet and ran outside while everyone's banging the pots and pans, and he's playing the tomahawk chop on his trumpet at the end of the game. It was awesome. It was just utterly awesome.
That's so cool.
So it was really incredible. I mean, it's unbelievable. I never thought I'd be here. I never thought I'd get to watch this. I never thought I would have a shirt that said Super Bowl champions and have my team's logo on it. I just never thought it was going to happen.
Yeah. I pretty much watched most of the Super Bowl by myself. The game started, me and the wife were watching. And I told her, I said, it's kind of surreal that the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl. I said, now the Chiefs are really that team in the NFL. I mean, when you think of the Super Bowl, you think of the Steelers, you think of the Patriots, you just think of these teams, the Dallas Cowboys, these teams that just are associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Chiefs are that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. But
Absolutely.
I'm just going to predict it. I think by the time Mahomes is done, they're going to have 5 Super Bowl wins.
It's definitely possible if the guy stays healthy.
I can practically guarantee that next year they win the Super Bowl.
As long as they can have the team together.
I think they're going to win 2 in a row before they don't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be probably because they're going to lose some pieces, because that happens to Super Bowl teams, especially Super Bowl teams that their quarterback gets to sign a new contract away from his rookie contract. You're going to lose some people.
Yeah.
But then they'll build up and they'll do it again. And then I think they'll win 2. They'll lose. They won't make 1 or 2. And then I think they're going to win 2 more. And then they'll win another one down the road. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, watching Patrick Mahomes play, I mean, you can't bet against him now. After watching him, what he went through this season with the dislocated knee, or dislocated kneecap, and then they were saying he could be out a month. He was only out a couple of weeks, and then being down to the Texans by 24 points, getting just manhandled and then saying, you know what, enough's enough. Let's do this. And they
Yeah,
come in and win that game. Down by 24, win by 20. They were down 17-7 in the Titans game. In the AFC Championship game, they were down by 10, came back and won by 11. Super Bowl, they were down by 10 with only 6 minutes left to go in the game, and they win by 11. Like, this is a team that just, anymore, you just can't bet against them. Like,
yeah.
you just can't.
And you know, the dislocated kneecap, the Chiefs were an afterthought because of the Baltimore Ravens all season long.
Yeah.
And all that's great, and the comebacks are great, and all that other stuff because Mahomes is Mahomes, but he was not Mahomes in the Super Bowl for more than 3/4 of that game.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And then when it mattered, he became Mahomes, and that's the sign of a great quarterback. He did not let some below average play hamper him. He just kept fighting until they won. That's the sign.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It reminds me of, I grew up in the 90s watching Michael Jordan, and it reminds me of those times where Michael Jordan goes into a game and by the fourth quarter he's made 2 3-pointers and he's 2 for 10 from behind the arc, and when it comes down to the end, they need that last second shot. They're not giving it to anyone else. It's still going to him, and he would make it, and that was kind of the thing. It was like, hey, you know what? We've got other players on this team that can do it, but you know what, Mahomes, it's yours. You're clutch. You're the guy. You've got to be great, and he was, and I mean, it was just incredible. And then the parade was today. It was surreal. I did not go downtown for the parade because I don't like that many people, and it was 25 degrees outside. I didn't feel like standing outside in 25-degree weather to watch somebody through binoculars. So instead, I sat in my house with a fire going and watched it on the big screen TV where, I could actually see everybody without binoculars. So that was nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was surreal.
Though. I have to drive around downtown to get to my office.
Yeah.
At 8:00 in the morning, at the beginning of the parade route, there was people everywhere. And then I go across the Heart of America Bridge to get to my office, and there was already people walking across that. They had parked, on the other side of the river and was walking across the bridge to get to the thing at 8:00 in the morning, 3.5 hours before the parade even started.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You think Kansas City was starving for a championship?
Yeah, the pictures and everything that I've seen, it was just as many people, if not more people, than 2015 when the Royals won. It was incredible. It was really, really incredible. And I think the other thing that this team has, and my wife and I were talking about it today after all the festivities, we kind of made the comment that, it was really, a lot of the times in the history of the Chiefs, there's been a coach that, every NFL team has a coach. The Chiefs have had coaches. And some of the coaches had personalities and some of them didn't. But none of the coaches seemed to be the embodiment, like that the players, every time somebody asked the player something, the coach wasn't the first response. It wasn't like, well, what makes this team special? Well, it's coach speak. You would hear this. You would hear, oh, it's the teammates. It's how hard we work. It's all this. This year, the thing that everyone said that made this team special was Andy Reid. It was the head coach. And I don't remember a team whether in Kansas City or outside of Kansas City, that the head coach was like the players would bow down. They would jump in front of a train for this guy. And I mean, you heard it. You heard it in the speeches, you saw it in their reactions, you saw it in the way they treated him all season long, and then also today in the ceremonies and everything. It was like Andy Reid truly is the most loved coach, I think, in the NFL. And even the national pundits, they all talk about it, that they haven't found a player that played for Andy Reid that didn't like him.
Yeah.
It's just incredible, and it's kind of cool that he's in Kansas City now, because I've never had that before, and I think it's cool, and I like it.
Well, it just goes to show you. You've mentioned it. The Chiefs had some coaches. They had Dick Vermeil. At one time, the Chiefs had the best offense in the league.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever won a playoff game.
Nope.
Under him. And it's not because they didn't have the talent. They did, but only on one side of the ball.
Yeah.
They had a coach who was offensive minded, and the defense was a mess. The offense was outstanding. I mean, they went 13-3, 2-3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Still didn't win a playoff game.
Yeah.
But then they get Andy Reid, and he does a pretty decent job with Alex Smith. But once he got Patrick Mahomes, I mean, it was the perfect marriage. His ability to coach the entire team, make sure the whole team works, but he's a master with quarterbacks.
Yeah, he is.
And then you get that kind of raw talent in Andy Reid's hands. Yeah.
And
it was something to behold, because I watched Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech, and I didn't think he was anything special. He made some plays here and there, but he wasn't anything special in my mind. I had no idea that he was going to become this.
Hey, nobody had that idea. Otherwise, somebody else would have taken him. I mean,
thing is would he been that good under another head coach?
Honestly, I would say no.
I wouldn't think so either. I mean, he would make ridiculous plays and ridiculous throws, but this is the perfect marriage.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Andy Reid, I mean, it's like you said, Andy Reid is the quarterback whisperer. He has turned quarterbacks that were no names, late draft picks, and backups. He's turned those into first round draft picks that he's traded for. I mean, anybody remember Matt Schaub?
Yeah, I do remember Matt Schaub.
I mean, or AJ Feely.
Yep.
Or there were several. There has been several quarterbacks that he has had when he was in Philadelphia. That, I mean, well, hey, anybody remember Nick Foles?
Oh yeah,
the guy that left the NFL because he just didn't have the right fit. Andy Reid brings him to Kansas City. And then after that, he goes to Philadelphia and wins the Super Bowl. Like, yeah. I mean, that's a quarterback that was created by Andy Reid. That was, nobody thought Nick Foles was worth anything. He was out of the NFL. And Andy Reid brings him back. I mean, this year with Patrick Mahomes went down, they went and got Matt Moore. And Matt Moore won a couple of games. There was no reason for Matt Moore to win any games. Matt Moore's not, he's not going to be in the NFL next year.
Yeah. And everybody thought, okay, Mahomes is hurt. They're not going to win a game until he comes back. How wrong we were.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just incredible. I know we spent a lot of time on the Super Bowl, but this is it's kind of a big deal for us in Kansas City, and we're a podcast from Kansas City, so you guys can enjoy it.
We get,
hey, this show is all about geeks. We can geek out on all kinds of things. This just happens to be we're geeking out on some sports stuff.
We are geeking out on some sports. Whatever raises your geek flag, talk about it.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. Um, yeah, only going to say one more thing about it, and that is, um, you could tell before the game, during the game, all the pregame stuff, all the stuff you saw nationally. I think most of the nation was actually rooting for Kansas City to win this game.
Oh yeah.
I could tell the announcers were kind of pro Kansas City, but
Well, which was really surprising because Joe Buck is anti Kansas City. He hates this city. He's from St. Louis. He's a St. Louis guy, and he has rooted against Kansas City in multiple broadcasts before. He was the one Royals versus San Francisco that was just drooling over Madison Bumgarner in 14 and was all too happy to announce that Madison Bumgarner had beaten the Royals. And yeah, so I was honestly really surprised by that as well. So I and the fact that if you haven't listened to it or if you don't know about it, in Kansas City at every Chiefs game, the national anthem is played just like every other. But at the end of it, instead of Home of the Brave, the entire stands say Home of the Chiefs. And in the Super Bowl, if you're listening to a broadcast that's unedited, you can find it if you search for it. 2020 national anthem, Super Bowl national anthem. You will hear enough people in the crowd yell Chiefs at the end of the national anthem. That is a sign that most of the fans in that stadium were for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, they were, I think because it had been 50 years, and I think, they kept going. We got the bar area called the Power and Light District.
Yeah.
They kept flashing back to the Power and Light District to show all those people standing outside to watch it on the big screen.
Yeah.
I think the media at least just gravitated to that whole, they call it the Chiefs Kingdom here and all that stuff. I think every team has some sort of slogan like that. But this city was so starving for this championship because been so close.
Yeah.
Under Marty, under Dick Vermeil. I mean, their Chiefs fans got their heart broken more than I think any other fan base except for maybe the Raiders. I don't know. But holy cow. Yeah. So why not root for them? Because this city really needed it, I think. So
yeah, it's it is definitely I definitely agree with that one. So on to get back to our a different geeky side, but from the Super Bowl, there's always lots of good trailers that are out there.
Absolutely.
We won't go through all of them. I do want to point out some of them that I thought were really awesome, that I liked. We got to see Falcon and the Winter Soldier and also WandaVision. I liked the Disney Plus kind of trailer commercial thing that they did for those shows. Also
Absolutely.
showed Loki. Looked really cool. Looking forward to those. I wish they were coming sooner because I believe the first one, I think Falcon and Winter Soldier are first, and they're not until August. So we got a little ways to wait, but
yeah, they're all coming towards the end of summer, end of fall this year, which is perfect because when the weather starts getting colder,
right,
you're going to want to be indoors watching a little TV. So why not those shows?
I just wish they were coming sooner because it's cold now, and I want to be able to watch those shows now. But
yeah,
hey, gotta wait for the stuff to get done. Gotta be patient.
Exactly. I'm going to turn it a little bit on Disney Plus Away from Marvel to Star Wars, the second Mandalorian season I think is in November this year, or no, it's
Ooh,
October.
October. Yeah. Yeah.
October. So we're gonna have all this cool Marvel stuff. We're gonna have Mandalorian in the middle of that.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah. I'm I'm gonna be watching. I really haven't watched a lot of Disney Plus since I finished The Mandalorian. But I am definitely going to be watching a lot of it this fall. So with
Yeah.
those, that all looks really cool. Also got to see a new Black Widow trailer. Thought
Yes.
that was really good. Still really looking forward to Black Widow. So that was really neat. The other movie in this list that intrigues me more and more the more and more trailers I watch is the live action version of Mulan.
I can totally agree with you on that one.
I was not really a huge fan of the animated Mulan. Like, I watched it. I think I've seen it all the way through. It's just never really hit home with me. But man, watching that live action, this is a Disney princess movie that is made for live action. Like, this is going to be awesome.
It just looks like a good movie.
Yes.
Throw
Yep.
out the whole Disney princess thing. Throw out the fact that it was an animated thing before. It just looks like a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like a
Little sleeping tiger, hidden dragon kind of thing going
yeah.
on. It's
It
just looks cool.
it looks like it's a perfect adaptation from, you know, um from the animated story, because the animated story you can do so many other things with it, and I think some of those things they did with it, like, I mean, they had a little like pet dragon thing that like talked to people, like that didn't work for me, especially at that time. So it just didn't fit. But this movie, the way they have it, the way they've adjusted the story to the live action, it looks really really awesome, and I'm super stoked for it. I'm really
Yeah.
excited for that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. That other than that, the I guess honorable mentions, the new James Bond movie. They had a trailer for it. I thought the trailer that they put out there was okay. I've liked the previous trailers better. Top Gun 2 had a trailer. Again, trailer didn't really do a whole lot for me. I liked the previous ones better, but that's a movie I'm looking forward to. Um, Other than that, there was a lot of stuff that I really had no interest in. Not really interested in watching Sonic the Hedgehog or SpongeBob
No.
movie. Minions 2, not really looking forward to that one. A Quiet Place 2, I didn't like the first one. I'm not really gonna watch this one. And Fast and the Furious 9. There you go. There's one. The ninth one. I haven't watched like the last 7, so probably won't watch this one either. But
Yeah, and I was like, man, this is probably the last one. And my wife's like, no, they've already contracted for 10 and 11. It's like, you got to be kidding
yeah,
me.
yeah.
It just won't go away.
No, it just keeps making money, so they're gonna keep doing it. But
Yeah, and
yeah,
you know what? I actually liked 8 and 9, or 7 and 8. So,
yeah. I just haven't watched them, so it's just just haven't made it there.
I get it.
But yeah, so but you've been watching an HBO series. Is this a new series that you're in the middle of, or is this one that you found that's completed?
No, it's new. I think there's been 3 episodes total so far.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's called The Outsider. It's based on a Stephen King novel. So take that for what it's worth. I know a lot of shows sometimes struggle to adapt Stephen King to the screen. Um, this one, to me, in the first episodes that I've watched, they're killing it. It's really good. Um, Little synopsis without really giving away anything. A little boy is kidnapped and killed gruesomely. Um, his baseball coach, played by Jason Bateman, is caught on film. He's seen by witnesses. Everything points to him being the murderer. So they do this very public arrest of him. Pretty much, even if he's found innocent, his life is ruined because of the way they handled this. But enough of that. But then he says, I wasn't even in town. I was at a conference. And then they find video of him actually at the conference at the same time these murders, and all these witnesses saw him doing this other thing. So it's like, how can he be in two places at one time? So that's about as much as I can tell you about the plot of the show. That was in the trailers, so I didn't give anything away. But that's what it is. So, of course, there's got to be some supernatural explanation for this. It's Stephen King. Things that have happened, you're getting introduced to what is really going on. But again, you don't know enough about it to really go like, what the heck? What is this? The characters are fantastic. Jason Bateman, like I said. Ben Mendelsohn, if you know who that is.
Yeah.
He was in Star Wars. He was the bad guy in Ready Player One. He was in Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel, sorry. Or is it Miss Marvel?
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. He plays the arresting officer. Man, is he good. I'm just going to throw it out there. He's probably one of the best actors out today. He's doing a great job. There's some other characters that you're like, I know I've seen that guy in something else, but I don't know what his name is. Those kind of actors. They have a character. Her name is Holly Gimbley or something like that. And I love her. She's this girl, this private eye that they bring in to start looking into some things. And I think she's on the spectrum. But she's super smart. Almost Sheldon Cooperish type of smart. But the way the girl plays this part, she is adorable as hell. But she's also this autistic, private investigator. To kind of sum her up, there's a scene where she's with this other cop, and he's like, how tall are you? And she's like, I don't know. He goes, well, then how tall am I? And she's like, you're 6'2" and a half. He's like, how much do you weigh? I don't know. How much do I weigh? And she'd spit it out. It's like, that's the type of person she is. She could look at something and just tell you everything about it. But inside herself, she doesn't really know.
Gotcha.
And I think it's because it's not important to her, because she doesn't need to know herself. She is herself, but she needs to know her surroundings.
Right.
So I love that character. I just love that character. So hopefully nothing happens to her.
Well, it's a Stephen King movie, so there's no telling.
Yeah. So I highly recommend it if you have a way to get to HBO shows. Like I said, I think 3 has been out now. The 4th one comes out this coming Sunday, February 9th. Or we've seen 4 and the 5th one's coming out. I can't quite remember, but it's not that many episodes so far. So
looks like 1, 2.
The last
3,
one was like
4,
Tears something
5.
was the name of it.
That was 5.
That was 5? There's been 5?
Yep.
Holy cow. I've watched all 5. Yep. It's been really good. Cool. We're watching HBO for The Outsider, and we're also watching a show called McMillions, which we just watched the first episode of.
I just read something about that.
So, the McDonald's Monopoly game, the FBI just kind of notices a pattern with the winners, And now there's this documentary series on how they uncovered this whole thing. There's only been one episode out so far. I highly recommend getting in on this one on the ground floor. It's really good.
Yeah.
The
I
the the FBI agent that actually figured things out, he is great. He is just one of those guys. One of the other um, agents said it best about him. Said he could actually start a conversation with a wall, and the wall would respond back. He's just one of those guys, you know. So recommend that one. I will talk more about that later as I get more episodes in. But if the first episode is any indication, yeah, you should be watching that.
Yeah, that's definitely one that I want to go find. I kind of want to go find this Outsider one too. My wife's a big
I
fan of
recommend that
Stephen
one
King.
highly as well.
So yeah, my wife's a huge fan of Stephen King movies and books. So I feel like I need to watch that one. I've also got on my list Castle Rock on Amazon Prime, which is Stephen King ish.
That first season of Castle Rock is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I loved it. We are struggling with the second season, and I don't think it's because it's bad. I just think it's not our cup of tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not bad. But that first season, holy cow. That first season was so good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. So, very cool. We'll have to check that out. Yeah, and I'll have to start watching McMillions, and we'll talk about that one when that's all done. Kind of give our thoughts on it. But yeah, that I read. There was an article on BBC on the Guardian, which is the British newspaper. I get the headlines every day from that, and there was one of the articles was about this and about that FBI case and the HBO series that was coming out, and I was like, that sounds freaking awesome, and I really want to know more about it because I remember playing that game growing up. So
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, people went out of their way to get pieces. You know, they would actually go buy McDonald's stuff just to get the pieces. I mean,
yeah.
It was a phenomenon, and it will change the way you look at games like that in the future. So yeah, I mean, you just gotta watch this thing. It's amazing.
Cool. Well, that is very, very cool. Well, all right. I think that is a good place to stop there. Next week we'll talk about some video games. I got some video games I'm playing. Also one that I've completed. So we'll talk about that next time because we've gone on long enough. And yeah, we'll give you guys a break. I need to get some sleep.
There you go.
It's been crazy.
Yeah,
man.
I'm gonna buy that video game that you're gonna talk about and get it played.
Oh, there you go.
Get some playing time in this weekend, so when you're talking about it, I'll know what the hell you're talking about.
Sweet. Well, then I will also send you. Well, no, I won't send you anything because we'll talk about it next week. But yeah, very, very cool. Looking forward to it. So tune in next week for some video game talk. And yeah, until then, go check out our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/geekvice. You can follow that man over there at Kip Killigan. You can follow me at Geekvice. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Subscribe, like, notify, all the stuffs. And of course, as always, you can reach us by email at geekvice@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts on the Chiefs Super Bowl win. Let us know what you think. Did you go downtown for the big parade and the big party? What do you think about Travis Kelce's speech? What do you think about Tyreek Hill coming on and talking? What did you think about Patrick Mahomes catching a beer can being thrown at him from the crowd as he's on the top of a double-decker bus, one hand snagging the beer, shotgunning it, and then spiking it off the side of the bus? How about that?
He's a national treasure.
It really, really is. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening to our ramblings. We will see you next week.
Yeah, email, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I already did that stuff. Now
Did
you're
you?
supposed to, yeah.
Holy cow!
Now you're
Yeah,
supposed to
I
go
was, I was
later.
just thinking of Patrick Mahomes downing that beer, and I got lost. It
There we
happens.
go. All right, everybody. We will see you next week.
See ya.
This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.
I thought it was great.